The Atlanta Hawks roll into Madison Square Garden to take on the New York Knicks. The Hawks, they're catching fire, winning 4 of their last 5, including a gutsy 119-115 overtime win against the Celtics. Trae Young dropped 28 points with 11 assists. Dyson Daniels shot the lights out, and Okongwu dominated off the bench with 19 points and 13 boards. Meanwhile, the Knicks, they're sliding, losing 6 of their last 9, and that ugly 116-99 loss to the Timberwolves at home didn't help. Brunson did his part with 26 points, but the rest of the squad, cold, shooting just 38% from the field and fading late in the fourth. Now, let's talk history. The Knicks, they've won their last 10 home games as favorites after a home loss. But the Hawks, they've covered the spread in 10 of their last 11 games as underdogs against Eastern Conference teams. Something's got to give, and today's AI pick is Atlanta plus 6.5. Now, I know what you're thinking, are the Hawks for real? They're missing key pieces. Sure, but this squad has momentum. Young loves the spotlight at MSG, and if he heats up, it's trouble for New York. The Knicks, on the other hand, have the pressure of expectations and a crowd that won't settle for another collapse. Buckle up, this one's got all the makings of a thriller. On to Game 2.
Next up, the Phoenix Suns taking on the Cleveland Cavaliers at Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse. The Suns, they're coming off back-to-back wins against the Wizards and Pistons, and they've got the Nets, Wizards, and Clippers next. Kevin Durant continues to do his thing, averaging 27.4 points, while Devin Booker adds 25.8 a night. But defense, it's been an issue. The Suns allow 114.3 points per game and struggle to force turnovers, ranking 28th in opponent turnovers per game. On the other side, the Cavs are rolling. Sitting at a dominant 35-6 record, they've been lights out at home. They're averaging 122.1 points per game on 50% shooting, and Donovan Mitchell dropping 23.1 points a game, with Darius Garland orchestrating the offense at 21.2 points and 6.8 assists. The Cavs are lethal from deep, shooting 39.5% from 3. Now, let's talk trends. The favorites have dominated this matchup, winning the last 18 meetings. The Suns, they've lost their last 8 as road underdogs. And Cleveland, they've covered the spread in their last 6 home games against Western Conference teams with winning records. But hold on, Phoenix has won 5 of their last 6, and Cleveland struggled to cover in 4 of their last 5 home games after a win. And today's AI pick is Cleveland 7.5. So, are the Suns turning a corner, or are they just benefiting from a soft schedule? Beating teams like the Wizards and Pistons doesn't exactly prove they're ready for the big stage. Meanwhile, the Cavs, they're a wagon right now. With their depth and efficiency, it's hard to bet against them at home. On to Game 3.
Alright, next up, the Boston Celtics visiting the Golden State Warriors at Chase Center. The Celtics, sitting at 29-13, are coming off a win against the Magic but took a tough loss to the Hawks. They're averaging 117.5 points per game while holding opponents to just 108.6. Jason Tatum? A machine, 27.7 points and 9.3 rebounds a night. Jaylen Brown isn't far behind, dropping 23.3 per game. They live and die by the 3, leading the league in attempts, but consistency, that's been a question. Meanwhile, the Warriors, at 21-20, have been scrapping. They've picked up wins against the Timberwolves and Wizards, but the real question: Stephen Curry's ankle. If he sits, they're in trouble. The Warriors are putting up 111.4 points per game but allowing 110.9, and without Draymond Green and Kuminga, their defense might not hold up against Boston's firepower. Now, trends tell an interesting story. The Celtics? They've won 17 of their last 18 against Western Conference opponents following a loss. And the Warriors? They've lost 5 of their last 6 home games against Eastern Conference teams after a win. But Golden State has covered in 7 of their last 8 matchups with Boston. But here's where it gets interesting. Both teams are struggling to cover spreads. And with injuries looming, we're looking at a game that could slow down. The Warriors rank near the bottom in opponent blocks per game, and if Curry doesn't suit up, Their offensive efficiency takes a major hit. And today's AI pick is the under 223.5. Defense will take center stage here. The Celtics pride themselves on limiting opponents, and with the Warriors missing key pieces, expect a grinded-out kind of game. Slow pace, missed threes, and a defensive battle all point to a lower-scoring affair. On to Game 4.
Alright, let's talk about the Utah Jazz taking on the New Orleans Pelicans at the Smoothie King Center. The Jazz, they're in freefall. Losers of back-to-back games against the Hornets and these very Pelicans, and their injury report, it's a mile long. No Markkanen, no Sexton, no Clarkson, and no Collins. That's a whole lot of firepower sitting courtside. They're putting up 111.3 points a night, but allowing 118.1. Turnovers, a disaster. They lead the league in coughing up the ball, averaging 17.8 per game. On the other side, the Pelicans might not be at full strength, but they've got momentum. 4 wins in their last 5, and they just took down the Jazz by 13. Zion's status is still up in the air. But even without him, they've been covering spreads left and right, 5 straight, and 7 of their last 10 overall. Now, history's got a way of telling us what's coming. The Jazz? They've lost 15 of their last 16 night games against Western Conference opponents. Meanwhile, the home team? They've won 8 of the last 9 meetings between these two. And the Jazz? They've failed to cover in their last 4 night games against Southwest Division teams. Ugly. And today's AI pick is New Orleans, 11. Let's be real. The Jazz are practically begging to get run out of the building. They've got no depth, no scoring, and no hope. The Pelicans? Even without Ingram and Jones, they're at least showing signs of life. Utah's in tank mode. And this one's got blowout written all over it. On to Game 5.
Closing out the night, the Chicago Bulls take on the LA Clippers at the Intuit Dome. The Bulls, they're struggling, 5 straight losses, including back-to-back duds against the Trail Blazers and Hornets. They're putting up 117.2 points per game but allowing a brutal 120.5. Zach LaVine and Nikola Vucevic are doing their part, but the defense? Non-existent. Opponents are lighting them up. And they rank dead last in field goal attempts allowed. The Clippers, on the other hand, are finding their rhythm. Winners of 4 straight, including solid victories over the Trail Blazers and Lakers. Even without Kawhi Leonard tonight, they've been covering spreads left and right. Norman Powell is stepping up, averaging 23.7 points per game, and James Harden running the show with 21.4 points and 8.1 assists. Now, let's talk trends. The Clippers, they've won 21 of their last 22 against Central Division teams with losing records. Meanwhile, the Bulls, they've failed to cover in 7 of their last 8 against Western Conference teams after a loss. But Chicago has had success as underdogs, covering their last 7 road games against Pacific Division opponents after losing as favorites. Something to consider, and today's AI pick is LA Clippers minus 5.5. Even without Kawhi, the Clippers have the edge. No travel, solid defense, and a Bulls team that's just lost. Expect the Clippers to take care of business at home. Let's recap our AI picks for today. Atlanta Hawks plus 6.5 against the Knicks. Cleveland Cavaliers minus 7.5 over the Suns. Boston vs Golden State under 223.5. New Orleans Pelicans minus 11 to handle the Jazz. LA Clippers minus 5.5 to roll past the Bulls. And that wraps it up. Stay sharp, stay focused, and remember, the house always has an edge, but with the right moves, we stay one step ahead. Until next time.